Good evening. Happy Thursday. Hello again to everyone. Camera's being a little rambunctious. Hopefully it'll stop. I'm going to jump right in and get working on the box. I already did one side just to test that everything was going to go smoothly, and it did. All right, this is a 10-inch strip of cardstock. And I'm going to cut up about an inch, inch and a half, doesn't matter how much. At least an inch, okay? And I'm going to remove the score line, okay? Going to remove the score line. So you're going to have something that looks like this. That's going to go here. And my score line is not, make sure it's, you know, you get the whole thing so there's no little cracks or anything. Hold on, let me switch off my camera for a second and see if it'll stop doing this. Dun dun dun, dun dun dun, da da. All right. Hopefully that fixed it. Okay, so what, nope, it didn't. So this is the bottom of the box, and this crack, you want that flush with the bottom of the box so that your two little legs are sticking off, okay? And then I'm gonna put my glue just on the edge here, and then on this piece, on the edge of this piece. Okay. And then, of course, I put it on the wrong side. So, great. Normally I wouldn't do both sides at once, but I messed myself up here, so I kind of have to. Off to a great start. Okay, then once you've got this on the side, you can put glue on first one flap, and you're just gonna wrap it around the corner, press it into place. And then the other side. And press it into place. And you have this crisscross that's going to reinforce your corners. So your corners are nice and wrapped and reinforced. And if you have any cardstock poking out, like I do, a little bit here, just cut it off. Okay. So you have your nice little wrap corner there. Now this one, while it's still dry, this is kind of a, this is a maneuver that once you get it, you get it. So try it dry first. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn this inside out so that it's goes up, over, and then it's kind of turns inside out. So what you want to do is you want to push with your thumb on the corner up over so that you can kind of start seeing it collapse. And then you want to feed it inside. Okay, you want to feed it to the inside. Again, I don't have any glue on this. Okay, this is just to get the cardstock used to going where I want. And then once it's kind of where you want it, you can burnish it, get some folds in it. Okay, so then pull it out, put glue all over it. And invert it again. And it'll go right in, see, because you already sort of pushed and folded it into place. So it goes right in there. And then once it's kind of in place, you can turn it to the inside and use your bone folder to flatten any little crimps. You just get it as flat as possible. Okay. But there you go. So now these corners are reinforced. So we've reinforced this corner underneath and this corner on top. Okay. You need to see that again? Well, luckily there's 2 more corners. So you can. All right, before I do that, I'm gonna just, is the camera still flashing? Yeah, it is. Hold on 1 second. Ugh. Hopefully, if we bounce off and on, that'll help. All right, so 10-inch strip of cardstock, 2 by 10, folded down the middle, scored and burnished. Okay, then take your scissors and cut out the score up about an inch, inch and a half. Doesn't really matter. Not less than an inch, not more than an inch and a half. Man, the camera's on my last nerve. Okay. That gives you these little legs at the bottom. You're going to line the end of the score line up with the bottom of the box, okay? With the bottom of the box. Put glue on just the edge of your cardstock here. Like so. Just on the edge of the cardstock. And then here, put it in like a this U shape. So you're getting the top, the bottom, and the edge. And then put this down, line it up, and press it into place. All right, pressy, press, 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 press. Okay, and then once it kind of grabs, you can clean up this edge at the top, get any glue sticking off of it. Then you're going to do the same thing here. You're going to put glue on the edge and then up the two sides and along the bottom of the chipboard. Okay. All right, so that's the glue. Then you just fold it over. And you can clean up any glue up here. Okay. But you're just gonna press this into place. Okay. Then put it over your hand because you can't lay it down because of this. So just kind of get it on your hand and twist it until you can see the flaps. And then put glue all over the flaps, one at a time. Am I using glue because it's stronger? I'm using glue because it's stronger and faster. But yes, glue is stronger. So it's good to use it, but it's also faster when you're dealing with so many like odd shapes. And then once you've bent that one over and press it into place, quickly do the other one and bend it over and press it into place. Clean up all your extra glue and then just keep pressing, pressing, pressing. Make sure, and your hand's inside it, so you're pushing, you know, you can put pressure from the inside to the outside. You want to just get it nice. All right, and then once it's holding and dry, come up to the top, and now this is the tricky part, and this is one of those things that when you get it, you get it. I don't, you know, when you get it, okay? But I'm going to try and walk you through it as much as possible. So, while it's still dry, and there's no ink on it, and there's no glue on it, rather, the goal here is we want to turn this sort of inside out. So right now it's in this shape, and when it's done, it's going to be inverted. So to get it to turn inside out, while it's still dry, you're going to put your thumb on the corner of the chipboard here, and you're going to start pushing it in and down, and that's going to collapse it. Then once it starts to collapse, you can work what's left of it over and in with your fingers, pushing, pushing, pushing. Okay, you're just, it's like this motion. It's like a roll over, push down, roll up, roll over, push down, roll up with your fingers, over, push down, up, down, up, down. You're just, what you're doing is you're breaking these wood fibers so that you can turn the paper in a way it doesn't want to go, okay? And by doing this inversion, it's going to give you a really strong corner, okay? But it's not so easy. It's not so easy the first few times. So just work with it while it's dry. And once it's in there, okay, and it doesn't have to be perfect. See, this one's kind of crooked. It just has to be flat, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be flat. So it's okay if you warp the paper fibers a little bit, because no one's going to see it because it's A, inside the box, and B, you're going to put pattern paper on the inside. It's going to cover it anyway. Okay? So once it's in there, okay, where you want it, go over the top out here. And I'm pulling it down on the inside and pinching it in place when I'm doing this burnishing on the outside. So I'm getting it as tight as it can get when I do this outside burnish. Then pull it out. It's going to look all gross and mangled. That's fine. Cover the whole thing with glue. Get it right on this edge. Get it in the crack. Get it all the way on all the edges. Cover the panel. So there you go. And then once it's covered in glue, shove it right back down and it'll go right back in there. See how it just went right back down? Didn't fight me. In it went. Okay. Once it's down in there, then I can take my bone folder and push any little areas into place that need to be pushed into place. Sometimes I'm going to be collapsing if it gets a little hump here or there while the glue's still wet. I want to collapse those little humps, squish them down. And that's going to give me this nice strong corner right here. Okay, where we have one continuous piece of paper wrapping this corner up the side and wrapping this corner. Okay. We got to do one more. All right. Are you with me so far? I think you got it. So, 10-inch strip. Fold along the score line. 2 by 10, score down the middle, fold along the score line. Cut up, just eyeball it, 1 inch to 1.5 inches. And you're going to just remove the score line. You're just cutting the score line out of it. The paper is 80, I believe. 80 or 90. Somewhere in there. Sleepy Tiny. We have a Sleepy Tiny. Okay. So on the lower side, I'm going to, do on the top piece here, we're going to make the U. And then down here, we're going to do just the edge. Okay. Then we're going to line the bottom of the score line up where we still have the score with the bottom of the box, and we just press it into place. Take our rag, clean everything up. Clean, clean, clean. Go up here and clean anything hanging out. Okay, then once you've done that, you're going to take your glue, you're going to run it along the edge of the chipboard again, same as you did on the other side, and then make the 2 verticals so you have that U shape again, and then you run your line of glue along the edge of your cardstock, and then you fold them together. Press them into place. All right. Okay. Easy. Easy so far. Clean any glue up. Top that oozed. Okay. Now we're going to do the flaps. So again, I have this just kind of hooked on my hand. Gonna put glue all on one tab only. And then press. Then the other tab. And press. All right. Okay, got that nice corner. Now you can set it down, and we're gonna roll this up, over and down. So we're taking this, and instead of having it sticking up, we're gonna turn it inside out and have it sticking down. Okay, we've done it with all the other ones. It's worked out. Look at these beautiful corners. Look at those strong, beautiful corners. Okay, you can totally do it. So how do you do it? You put your thumb at the top of the corner of the chipboard, just above it on the cardstock. You break the paper fibers and you just shove it down. So you can see when I first shove it, it's not in a good spot, but then I make it go where I want. So I'm going to push it down where I want it. And you can go down inside and tug it down into place as well. However you need to get it where you want it. The most important part is that the top be nice and clean. The inside can look all jacked up and weird because it's inside. It doesn't matter. So once you've got the top looking the way you want, hold the inside and pinch, and then score the top into place so that it's kind of like gonna find that shape again easily. Do the same thing with the other side. You know, get it all folded where you want it, hold it down, pinch it, and then score it where you want it. Pull it back up, cover it in glue. And then push it back in. Just push it right back in. And once it's kind of staying where you want it and not popping up again, then you can go in. I know you can't see this part because I'm inside the box, but it's okay. You're just going to flatten out any little bumps, and you will have bumps. Don't panic because no one can see them. They don't matter at all. And flatten them out while the glue is still wet, and you can still kind of work with reshaping the paper fibers because while they're still a little wet from the glue, they'll reshape better. All right, and that's it. Done. All right, the box is pretty much reinforced now. The only thing we're going to do is we're going to clean it and make it look tidy. If I could close my glue, thank you. Okay. So there's a couple different ways we can do this, and it just depends on what kind of look you want with your box. But what I'm thinking we're going to do is we're going to take a sheet of some cardstock. We're going to measure from here to here. We're going to cut cardstock that width plus, you know, 2 inches, plus 3 inches, something like that. And then we'll score it at the bottom. We'll glue it to the side, and then we'll roll it over the top. And that'll give us, the outside will all be the same thickness, you know. So a new philosophical question: if no one can see the bumps on the inside of your box, are they really there? Well, they're there like based on like say, well, I was just going to say like Schrodinger and his cat, if you think about the cat, and it's until something's observed that that it exists in both states. So in the mind of the person who made it, the bumps exist because the person who made it observed the bumps. But in the mind of the person who's, like, say, receiving it, they don't know. And while they're uncertain, it exists in both states. Okay, now, the weight of the chipboard is medium. I don't know. These are not things I care about, so that's why I don't know the answers to them. I use graphics, medium weight chipboard. What thickness it is, I have no idea. I'm sorry. I just don't know. The paper, I think, is 80. Yeah, the paper is 80. I'm looking at the packaging, and they say 80 on them. Well, some of them say 90. I think they changed it, and they're all 90 now. But they were 80 when I first started collecting them. The cat's alive and the cat is dead. The cat is both alive and dead. Okay. Hi. You want to say hi to your fans? That was pretty weak. That was pretty weak, Tiny Cat. That was pretty sad little hi. I don't even know if they heard your hi. I don't even know if they heard you. Why are you so stingy with your cries? Why are you so stingy? Okay. So, Tiny Cat's in her box, but her box has a hole in it. So I know that she's fine. All right. So, time to measure the sides. 7 5/8. I'm going to measure all the sides at once. Four and an eighth. This one's between 7 5/8 and 7 7/8. So to let myself know that, I'm going to just write them both down. So. And this one's 4 1/8. If you want to know what side it is on the green miter tool, it's the 0.0625. That's the side that I always use. Always, always, always. Okay. All right, let's cut. So I'm going to need 3 sheets of cardstock, maybe. And I'm going to make these measurements plus 10. See this one, gonna shave a little bit off of it. Do. Okay. Now, you may not be able to get it perfect to where you can't, you know, you can't see any chipboard. Don't worry. All right, so I'm going to score at 1.5 inches. Yeah, at 1.5 inches. Yeah, if you have a tiny gap, you can camo it with a Sharpie. So if you have an area where you would be able to see the chipboard, just run your Sharpie. Again, you're just sharpieing the chipboard so that if it shows through, it's going to show through at least a marker and not all right, so then what we're going to do is we're going to hook this over the bottom. It's the same procedure as before. We're just going to hook this over the bottom and then we're going to roll that over the top. So easy. It's easy. Only this time I'm going to start here. But yeah, you're going to decorate it anyway. You're going to put pattern paper on it. Mostly what you just want is you just want it to be flat. And then you're going to just put it on the edge here. And then press it into place. Get your rag so you can clean up all your glue. Your glue-oos, your glues. Okay. So once you've got the bottom, drop it down. This one, top, sides, bottom. And then sort of scribble it around the middle. Okay. And then flop. And clean the glue. Particularly if there's any glue up top, which I have remarkably little glue. And then I'm pressing it in place through the inside. And then I'm going to leave it like this because when I roll it over, I want it to be pretty much dry on the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a little Sharpie arrow here. So I know this is the first one, okay, the driest. And then I'm going to work side by side by side. We're just going to repeat this over and over and over. Okay. So the next one I need is 4 1/8. Same deal. I'm going to cut a little shred off of it. Yep. And then you can go in with your Sharpie and just color your chipboard. Okay. Then we're going to score just like 1.5 inches up from the bottom. If these pieces are 10 inches, burnish. Now that this one is here, you have to hold it just like we did before. And you're going to make that U. And then on this piece, you're going to do just the edge. And then hook it over. Okay. And then once it's in place, just glue the cardboard where the cardboard shows on the side, or the chipboard. And then kind of scribble it around in the middle and push it up. And push it up. And that's it. Press it down. Clean up the glue that's showing here with your little rag so it doesn't dry in a glob. Did you see spiky hair? Yeah, I shaved my head. I shaved my head and I have a soft hawk now. And by I shaved my head, I mean I let Mr. Lifeguard and intern Liz do it, which they enjoyed a lot for different reasons. But yeah, I shaved it all off because I couldn't take washing it every time I got out of the pool and conditioning it. How short? I mean, it's all gone. I shaved off like 2 feet. Here, I'll go to the upside down so you can see it. All right, brace yourselves. See? It's all gone. I have a little cowlick in the back. I don't know how to deal with it. And what I'm doing is I'm going to keep shaving the sides down. So that, but you can already see where it's starting to separate on the side from the shaved part close to my head, and where the like little mohawk I'm making happen starts to stand up. So I'm going to keep encouraging that. So I'm going to keep shaving the sides down. And then what intern Liz wants to do is she wants us to color the mohawk different colors. Like, so we can like do, I think we're going to try rose gold first. So it'll just, and then curl it. So it'll be just really kind of pretty. And then the sides will dye a darker version of whatever's on the top. So like on the top, it'll be like rose gold, and then on the sides, it'll be like a red. She did not do hers either, but she is getting married. She is engaged, and she's getting married like probably sometime in the next year, depending on COVID. So, you know, it's okay. But she approved me shaving my head and said that we would just do something really cool to match the wedding theme, or, you know, if my mom freaked out about it, we could wear a wig. I could wear a wig. But it was just, I couldn't deal with when you have really, really long hair, and mine's kind of wavy. So anytime it gets wet, you have to go through this whole ordeal of like detangling it, and you have to condition it constantly. You're always putting masks on it. I mean, you're always dealing with your hair, you know, like you're always dealing with your hair. And I didn't really mind it back when I was dyeing it all the time, but you know, then I had that whole drama where that woman burned it. So, you know, I was just over it. I was just over it, and no one's going anywhere. So I just figured I'd play with it for the summer, and at least we'd get rid of all the burnt off part, you know. But anyway, so I'm letting it grow a little bit longer before we start experimenting with color. Because I miss having the fun colors as well. You know, and my hair was just too delicate after it got burned. Now, Mr. Lifeguard was in the military for 22 years, so he doesn't really care about hair for himself. So his hair is always shaved anyway. And then he doesn't particularly like the long hair, because the other thing is he put a number 6 razor through the ends to get more spikes. Ooh, we'll have to try that. We'll have to try that. Because that's the thing we've been having a tougher time with, is getting the spikes. But like, one thing we figured out how to do is how to get the sort of transition area between the spikes and the sides of the head that are more shaved, and we figured out how to get that to lie forward. So that's one accomplishment that we've had with COVID COVID hair stylings, is since we've figured out how to get that to lie forward. So because we're trying to train that part to go forward so that then I can curl the top part back and have like lots of different directionality and stuff. And so it's been interesting. It's been interesting. But I thought I would be more upset because my hair's been so long for so long, or that it would be more of an adjustment. But honestly, to be able to just like hop in the pool for 20 minutes to cool off in an afternoon and then take a quick rinse and not have to go through a whole rigmarole with my hair has made it so worth it, that just for that, you know, it's so worth it. All right, so I'm going to clean up any glue and push from the inside. I need to get a smaller straightener, a smaller flat iron, so that I can curl it back. But like my current one is a little too big. So, you know, either it needs to grow longer, which we are going to grow it longer, or it needs to I need to get a smaller one. But I saw that the bedhead people, Tiggy, is that who they? Yeah, they have one that's like a 1/2 inch. So I think I'll probably pick it up. Oh, you gotta have a tiny GHD. So GHD is they sell those at not Joann's, Sally's, right? But I'll take a look. But yeah, I didn't have any emotions about it at all other than, oh my gosh, what a relief. And yes, it's so much cooler and it's summer in Florida, so. The this little bedhead one that I found is like 19 bucks, I think. Ah! 200 bucks. Oh my. Maybe I'll just go with the $20 one. I mean, I assume it's not as good, but it's probably going to fall in the category of good enough for me. You cut your hair short 4 years ago and never looked back? Yeah. So, you know, the only real change that I would see would be, you know, maybe getting it done by someone who can more easily do layers and things like that. Like, that's something we're all just kind of stumbling around in the dark. We watch some YouTube videos and we try different things with the razors that we have, and we're just doing our best. But so, you know, afterwards it'll be, maybe I can get it done once there's, but I don't, you know, I don't really care that much because it looks totally fine. It was not worth the extra. All right, then we're going to press it down. Again, clean up any glues. Any glues. Okay, now. Oh, he can't stand it, like, when it gets, it's all tangled up. It gets tangled up and everything. So, like, it wraps around the vacuum cleaner. It's all like, he's always finding it stuck to towels. Like, he just can't stand like my hair shedding everywhere. So he actually is not a fan of long hair at all. Like, all right, so now we're gonna go back to the side with the arrow, and we're gonna score sort of right along the edge. We're just gonna find the edge of the chipboard and go over it with the scoring tool, and then bend it down, and that's it. Okay, so once it kind of knows where we want it, then we just will add our glue. Well, it's never tried to strangle him in the middle of the night. But, I mean, it's gotten tangled up in all kinds of stuff. I got it stuck on a button once of his, and I was just like running around screaming, trying to get it off. I mean, so, all right, that's it. Look at that. It just rolled right over. All right, and then we can, you know, flip it over and take our rag and press it down into place. But there's the edge. Look at that. My hair is like, the individual strands are fine, but I have a ton of it just like packed all really tightly on my head. So I look like I have a lot of hair, or I look like I have thick hair. I don't really have particularly thick hair, but I just have so much hair. But and they were telling me when they were shaving it that it's like twice as much hair on the left side of my head as the right side of my head, and so they were having to balance the two sides. look at this beautiful box. All right, so then you do the same thing on the other side. So even though it started out like the quick and easy version of a box, it's going to end up looking just the same as any other box. You know, it just looks like any other box. Put pattern paper on the sides and but when I said, I'm thinking of shaving my head, and then Mr. Lifeguard constantly was like, so when are we going to shave your head? So when are we going to shave your head? So when are we going to shave your head? And then intern Liz wanted to know when the head was getting shaved. So it turned into a family project. But I mean, we cut it and cut it and cut it and cut it. And you know, I cut a bunch of it off with scissors before we tried to do anything with clippers. And then we couldn't because it was still way too much of it, so then I had to go and cut closer to my head again with scissors. Had to go over my whole head again with scissors, just holding it up and looking in the mirror and trying to cut it. So, you know. Got a little bit of chipboard showing right here on the top, so I'm just going to color it in with a pen. Just a tiny little bit. There you go. And then last side. All right, that's it. It's done. Now, that's the box constructed. So it's ready for decorating. And we can go ahead and set it to the side. The way we would finish off the bottom, and I'm just going to do this when we're decorating, I'll just put a piece of cardstock, black cardstock over all this, just so it's all flat on the bottom. And then the sides will have pattern paper on them, so you won't see anything on the sides. And then same with the inside, they'll have pattern paper over them. So this is essentially done. But we do have a problem, and that is that our lid is too small now with the layers of chipboard on the lid, the layers of cardstock on the lid and the layers of cardstock on the box. So I'm going to see if the lid just needs to be 9 3/4 by 6 1/4. I'm going to do the lid just a little bit differently just to make it go a little bit quicker. So I'm just going to quickly do that. And we'll just do 9 3/4 by 1 1/4. Hey, buddy, I know. Everyone is so loud and your life is very hard. So we need one piece that's 9 3/4 by 6 1/4. And that's the top of the box. And then that's that, 9 3/4 by 6 1/4. Then this one, I already cut it to 9 3/4, so I just need to cut it to 1.5 inches. It'll be up tomorrow. But yeah, it'll show up eventually. Absolutely. All that work expanding the lid and now it's too small. I know. How annoying. Yep. That's okay. Okay. So this one needs to be 9 3/4. And then what I'm going to do, so I've got the 2 long sides, and now we just need just going to cut the 1.5 by 6.5 inch pieces. And there they are. Okay. Okay. So this is 6.5. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut this paper to 8. We'll just do 2 8 by 6 pieces. Okay, so we're going to be doing this a little bit differently. I'm going to mark 1 inch in on the back of the lid. Tiny is so grumpy. Okay. And then we're going to Google. We're not going to Google. We're going to Gloogle. We're going to Gloogle. Just glue that little 1 inch marked off space. Okay. Get our little rag here. And then stick this down centered side to side as best you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. This piece is 8 by 6. And this one we're going to do more like we would do a traditional box. So now what I'm going to do is Well, and we're still going to put, even if I could get it on like very snugly, which I still can, we're still going to put pattern paper. So take your tool and use it to space your two pieces. Or your one piece. Okay. All right. And you know, I said 8. Maybe you want to make this 9. I can make it work with 8, but I'd probably rather have 9. Watch me do this one, it's going to be too big. Then cover your little piece here with glue. Take your tool and space them. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna cut I'm gonna cut right along the edge of the chipboard from the corner of the chipboard down. And that way I'm going to be able to lift this up and swing that tab underneath it. Okay. So all you're going to do is just from the edge of the chipboard to the so that it can be, this is free. So to the corner of the chipboard. Okay. All right, so that will do. And then we only need 2.5 inches from the edge of the chipboard here. So I'm just going to put the chipboard at like 2.5 inches and cut the rest of it off. I guess it's not that much, so whatever. Okay. Now, we have to attach these guys. And it's going to be the same deal, only we just want a piece of cardstock like that's the same width as them. Okay, so we will go with 6 inches because that's what we used before. Although, let's see what they are now. Whatever. Okay, so I'm going to do 6 inches by, what is this now? 9 3/4, right? So I need 2 pieces that are 6 by 9 3/4. So I'm just going to cut it down to 9 3/4, and then I'll cut that in half. And I'll have 2 pieces that are 9 3/4 by 6. And it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to flip it over to the back, draw a line 1 inch in, and glue these down. Okay. Now with this, I'm going to put glue in my corners. So I'm going to do the U on this piece, and then I'm going to fill in the cardstock with glue. So I'm just going to go da-da-da-da. And then on this, I'm going to do a U shape. Okay. And then I'll just put a little bit here and here on this edge too. And I'm going to wrap these flaps around to the outside of that. Okay. Okay. So those flaps are on the outside now. All right. So just like before, we're going to take this and put glue on it and then use the little thing, the glitter gang tool, as a spacer. I was like, where is it? Okay. All right. So this way you're going to see 2 different ways to construct the lid. You know? Not a big deal. Okay. And repeat on the other side. And then you're going to go ahead and do your U. And press it into place. And then I'm going to glue this and stick it down. And there we go. All right, so the way it's going to work, these sides go up. All 4 sides go up. And then these 2 sides will fold around and secure. That's it. That's how it becomes a lid. Easy enough. So it's still not, you know, still not a super hard lid. Just gonna wrap my chipboard around so that kind of when I fold it, I'm gonna just press a little crease into it, and then that'll be the side. Okay, see? So that'll be the side, and then this one will come around and close it off. Okay. So we'll just, now that we've put the crease in this and we know where everything's gonna go, we're just gonna go all the way around the edges of all of this. Make sure you get on the score line. And there we go. All right, so that's one side, do the other. So step 1 is just get this with your bone folder to go up over your chipboard. And then once you've got it going up over your chipboard, just fold it down, flatten it, do all your glue. Get both sides of your score line and then get all your edges and scribble your glue around. There we go. That's it. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. Now, with the 2 sides here where you have the extra sticking out, you don't need the extra to go any farther than the top of this chipboard. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to take a pencil. We're going to line our ruler up with the top of that chipboard. Take a pencil and mark. Oops, I broke my pencil. Take the pencil and mark, and then we'll line it up, the ruler with the side of the chipboard, and mark. Okay, and then we can just trim that out. Okay. And then, yeah. The way it's going to come together is like meet in the corner. Then when you wrap this around, this one can go and get glued to the back and reinforce that corner. Okay? So you only need to put your glue on this part of the flap. Okay? For the step 1. Okay. And then when that's in place, glue down the flap. That's just going to reinforce your corner. None of this will show because we can cover it all up with cute paper. And then if you have any extra, just cut it off with your craft knife. Okay. And this is going to give you a nice edge as well. So same thing with this side. We're going to just put our glue right here. And then once that's done, glue on this flap. No, it's my camera is flashing tonight and I couldn't get it to stop. Then just trim. So you all should see them. If you're not seeing flashing, that's weird. If you don't see it. No. Yeah, my camera's flashing tonight. I don't know what its problem is. I tried to get it to stop and it refused, so. And then same deal with this. You just have to Cindy, if you're not seeing flashing, maybe you've just had a very long day. I haven't. I don't think I mean, my sister might have told her we did it, but she hasn't said anything to me about it. So while it's dry, just get it, fit it into place and then cover it with glue. Okay. All right, so we've got that side done. Now we just have to do it again. It's not flashing like a neon sign, but it's just every once in a while there's an artifact. Every few seconds, there's like a digital artifact, and I don't know what's causing it. My camera does this sometimes. I wish I knew why it does this, because then I might be able to figure out. How to stop it. But whatever. Yeah. Yeah, just please work, camera, because you can't be replaced right now. Because cameras are hard to come by in the work from home Zoom era. It's not so easy to just get a new camera. All right, so all right, so roll it over, press it into place while it's dry, get it scored into place, and then flip it out, glue, done. Wouldn't it be funny if I go to put this on and it still doesn't fit because the box is like too reinforced now? That would be funny, right? Hee hee hee. No, just kidding. It's not going to be. That's not going to happen. Okay. Now I'm just getting anything that's like poking out. Okay. And not bad for a quick and dirty lid. Okay. All right, now the lid's done. I'm going to do a recording break. We're going to decorate these. You would have turned it into a flap instead of making it twice. I think it probably would have taken longer to turn it into a flap, because it has sides on it. We would have had to deconstruct the whole thing. It's not like that would have taken a lot less time. All right. And I don't think like feel like it took me that long to make the lid compared to reinforcing the box, but maybe I don't know what time is anymore, which I feel like is pretty normal. All right, let's just make sure this fits. It doesn't fit. Just kidding, it fits. It's tight though. It's snug. It's snug. But I promised you a shoebox, and now you have a shoebox. All right, I'm going to do a recording break. We're going to decorate it. So look for the next video if you're watching on YouTube or in the archives. Thanks so much for watching, and check the video description for the playlist for this entire project if you want to see all the other bits and pieces. Bye now.